Yeah, earlier today was watching this interesting show called We Are Black and British.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, and there were a few people that I recognized on there. So there was Kehinde Andrews, which was a professor in, I can't remember exactly what university, I think Birmingham. He's released like a few books that are definitely on my list of books to read. And I would also love to talk to him at some point as well. I think that'd be quite interesting. One of his books is called Back to Black. What was it? Back to Black. Retelling Black radicalism for the 21st century. And the other one that's on my list is The New Age of Empire, how racism and colonialism still rule the world. There was another person on the show I recognized as well, who was Lin May. One of the she does like Link Up TV stuff for like it's part of some other kind of news organization, and essentially the show was like talking about essentially Black British experiences from a variety of different perspectives. So Kehinde Andrews, probably the most radical person on that out of the 6 people that were on.
Right. We had a mother with a teenager who had been through altercations with the police.
Right, and she was also on.
Yes,
on the curb. On the curb.
I think it's Word on the Curb.
Word on the Curb. Yeah. I hadn't seen that, but when you mentioned it, I was like, oh yeah, definitely recognize that from a few TikTok clips at least. I think.
Right.
They explored a few issues that we're definitely going to be speaking about.
I agree, and definitely a must watch. You can find that on BBC iPlayer.
Exactly, BBC iPlayer. Yeah. I don't know. What was your favorite topic that they discussed in that one?
To be honest, I think my favorite topic would have come from actually 2 perspectives. The first being the mother, who is dealing with whether or not the police should be defunded based upon the experiences that she had, with her kid who was stopped by police officers for carrying a knife, even though he was in work clothes and the knife was used for work. Well, and then the other would be the perspective of the Black community on homosexuality. I thought was quite interesting as well. And the sort of divide that we saw among the people on the panel said a lot in itself, that the topic is quite controversial.
Right. Like up until that point, it seemed, aside from one person, generally quite progressive.
Right.
One person who was probably conservative, but shouldn't say that in words. But yeah, it's when it came to that particular topic is where you really started to see the divide in terms of views on like homosexuality or just like not being straight, for example. So that was really interesting to see the discussions being had there and the back and forths and some of the heated discussions.
Right.
as well. And it's something that we have to talk about in general, I think, especially in the Black community at some point. So
of course. Yeah, that would be a topic to discuss at some point. But I think that the key thing about this particular documentary is that it definitely raises the question about race in itself, and how exactly do you tackle it, which was the goal, 6 different perspectives, and what conclusion can be reached from this.